Imagine a 12-year-old boy sitting on a wooden porch in Stratford, Ontario, strumming a guitar twice his size and singing NEO covers for spare change. His mother, a single parent working multiple jobs, uploads those videos to a brand new site called YouTube just so his relatives can see him perform. At the time, they were just digital home movies. But in reality, those uploads were the first sparks of a global wildfire. This is the story of Justin Bieber, the first true superstar of the internet age. A man who grew up in a glass house and had to break every window just to find his way out. Justin's discovery is the stuff of modern folklore. Scooter Brown, a marketing executive, was searching for a different artist when he accidentally clicked on one of Justin's videos. He saw a kid with a signature flip of blonde hair and a voice that was pure, soulful, and undeniably talented. Within months, Justin was auditioning for Usher in an Atlanta parking lot. By 13, he was signed. By 15, he had released One Time and Baby, and the world was introduced to Bieber Fever. The early years were a blur of screaming fans and unprecedented commercial success. Baby became the most watched video in history at the time. But it also became one of the most disliked. Justin became a lightning rod to millions of young girls. He was a dream to almost everyone else. He was a manufactured punchline. He was the first artist to experience the hyperspeed of fame, where you could be the most loved and the most mocked person on the planet simultaneously, all before you were old enough to drive. But as Justin moved from his teens into his 20s, the wholesome image began to crack. We watched in real time through TMZ and social media as the pressure of being a billion-dollar commodity took its toll. There were brushes with the law, erratic behavior, and a sense that he was a young man spiraling out of control. It's a path we've seen many child stars take. But for Justin, there was no privacy. Every mistake was a headline. Every breakdown was a meme. He went from a pop prince to a cautionary tale. And for a moment, it seemed like his career might be over. Then came 2015, and one of the greatest artistic pivots in music history. Justin didn't just return. He evolved. He teamed up with Skrillex and Diplo for Where Are You Now, a track that introduced a sophisticated, tropical house sound that would dominate the radio for years. This led to his album Purpose, a project that served as a public apology and a spiritual rebirth. With hits like Sorry, Love Yourself, and What Do You Mean? Quote, he achieved something nearly impossible. He won over the critics and the adult male demographic that had spent years dismissing him. He wasn't just a teen idol anymore. He was a legitimate pop innovator. But the success of Purpose also highlighted the heavy cost of his life in the spotlight. In the middle of a massive world tour, he did something incredibly rare for a superstar. He walked away, citing exhaustion and the need to protect his mental health. He cancelled the remaining dates of his tour and retreated from the public eye. He traded the stadium lights for a quiet life, focusing on his faith and his marriage to Hailey Baldwin. It was a move that sparked a much-needed conversation about the mental health of artists in the music industry. When he finally returned with albums like Changes and Justice, the music felt different. It was slower, more intimate, and deeply focused on his personal growth and his love for his wife. Songs like Holy and Lonely showed a man who was no longer chasing the next club banger, but instead trying to process the trauma of his own fame. In Lonely, he sang the heartbreaking line, What if you had it all but nobody to call? It was a moment of total vulnerability. A look behind the curtain of the boy who had everything but felt he had nothing. Today, Justin Bieber's influence is visible in almost every young artist who finds fame through a screen. He paved the way for the bedroom to big stage pipeline. He proved that you could survive the brutal cycle of child stardom and come out the other side as a mature, respected artist. He has sold over 150 million records and has billions of streams to his name. But his legacy is more than just numbers. His story is about the resilience of the human spirit under an impossible amount of pressure. He is a man who was molded by the internet, broken by the industry, and ultimately healed by his own choices. He went from a kid on a porch in Canada to a global icon. But his greatest achievement might simply be the fact that he found a way to be happy. Justin Bieber is a reminder that we often see the celebrity, but forget the human. He was a boy who gave his entire childhood to the world, and in return, he had to fight a war to get his life back. When you hear "Stay" or "Peaches" playing today, do you see the man who has finally found his peace? Or do you still see the kid with the blonde hair flip, singing his heart out on a YouTube screen in 2007? Thanks for watching.